Yeah, who is that down here? You're a little bit young for that kind of behaviour. Well, you're just maturing pretty early, which is pretty good to see. We're still battling with this weather. You can see by the amount of water we got sitting around the place. Oh, it's just coming down now. So, yeah, we'll go through. We'll see what's going on over the back here. Who was crowing? It was you, I think. Yep. I want to get him out for a fly shortly. I'm just going to wait for this weather to pass over. It's been pretty wet lately. Birds are doing pretty well, but just battling with this weather. It's been really, really wet. It's almost been as wet as last year. If you do remember, if you've been watching for that long, this time last year was one of the wettest winters we've had in 20-something years. And this one's starting to feel like that as well, because, yeah, it's just a battle at the moment. We've got a few little leaks we need to fix. But in saying that, let's wait for that rain. This is getting a bit loud. All right, let's get back to it now that rain's eased off a bit. Anyway, if you've been watching for a long time, you realise we've joined a loft, extended loft, made it a bit bigger. We've got a few problems with here. There's a few little leaks coming through. The rain's coming in again. It's been a battle the last few days, I tell you. But today arrived all the materials to redo the roof. So we're going to use one piece sheet all the way through. This was only a bit of an addition. Should have really done that roof then, but I was trying to save a bit of money. But unfortunately, we're going to try and push this little loft out a little bit longer. We've got a few leaks coming through now, but the rain is just, it is not stopping. We've got a few more weeks of this, at least 10 days. Oh, I tell you what, it's not fun at all. Let's have a look in here. These two still cruising. I'm not realistically trying to pair them up. I'm just trying to get them used to each other. That's the main sort of aim for this little togetherness here. Best Kittle Hen and 83. So I think I'm actually most excited about this pair out of all the birds. So I'm really hoping they sort of get their act together when we do start pairing them up in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll see. 83 is always keen. It's just this little hen because it'll be her first year breeding. But she's definitely starting to come into a nice little hen now. So I'm definitely keen to see how that little combination sort of turns out for me, because I do like that. What are you doing down there? She's sort of off the eggs, having a bit of a break, I think, and the father's on the eggs in there, which is good to see. We'll have a look at these little babies up here shortly. I went through, gave it a bit of a clean out this morning, which was quite good. We'll see how we go. We've got Leo and Storm. They are going to go down for another round of eggs soon. I wouldn't say Storm's too far off dropping some eggs, probably in the coming week, I'd say, which is good. Most likely they will raise them themselves, just because one sets under here. And I don't think these guys are sort of ready yet to, lay eggs. I've been still fighting a little bit here and there, so hopefully those two sort themselves out, but these two are well and truly on the way. And then soon I will open this up, just that these two pairs don't get along. It's realistically only Shock. He's the problem with all this. He's trying to take both boxes and both hens. He's got a bit of a fixation for this little hen that we've got here. She's not little, she's an absolute duck, this one. Yeah, so we've got to manage it. Same with Titan, he's the same. He's a bit of a pill sometimes. And this big boy laying on his eggs. I did candle these eggs, and they're not overly looking fertile at the moment, which is a high possibility given that this hen is 10 years old. So I will check them again to see if they're fertile in a couple of days. What are you doing hiding in behind there? If not, then we may be able to switch these eggs in under here and let them go down another round, because she will raise good babies, no problem about that. I think raising the babies will be pretty easy for her, but it's just maintaining fertility that could be the problem that we're facing here. Nice little hen, but it's getting a little bit old. Let's have a look at these little guys. I got some bad news with the rings. The rings were meant to pick them up, and well, in theory they would have been available in a couple of days time, but I seen a post up on the Facebook there that they're about 3 weeks late, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. So we might just have to put some other rings on these ones, which doesn't really bother me too much, because we don't really have a young bird season, or realistically we've only got one young bird race, which is out of the whole season. These guys race all together, so we should be fine with just these two little ones putting on the 2021 rings anyway, which are last year. which most of those birds over there got anyway. So you guys are looking pretty cozy there, which is good to see. We'll get back to you a little bit later, but I just want to have a look at these little guys, see if we can get them in some better lighting, just because they're starting to look pretty good. Well, we really look like we're going to have quite a real good pied in here, but it's starting to darken up a little bit now than what it was before, so we'll just have to play it by ear. I was hoping for a red checker, but yeah, we may get some type of red in there. There's definitely two different types of colours, but I was hoping for like a more of a pied. Let's have a zoom in on this one little here. But, we'll see how he goes. This one's definitely the bigger one. Pretty friendly too. Like, he was just trying to eat my hand, which he thinks I'm his mum. So this one is looking like a bit of a darker colour. See the black feet. The mother does carry a sooty gene, which we've seen in some other babies as well. So these ones are pretty close. I can probably get a ring on these this weekend. So yeah, I was hoping to get the rings this week basically, but that didn't happen. So we might just put some 2021s on there for now. Like I said, it doesn't really bother me. Like ideally, yeah, it'd be nice to have them in there, but yeah, we're only getting a few rounds out of this pair, because these ones are the parents to them, and I want to get a few rounds out of this pairing because they're probably the only non-Myliner Burns that we will breed this season. The rest will be some variation of these guys up here, because we'll go into that a little bit later. But I want to get these guys for the sprint series, so they are both bred some good babies this year, so we'll see how they go. And we'll shut this up because Titan is a pain. Such an aggressive bird. I don't know what's wrong with him. And she's getting jealous, always jealous, that little hen. Look at her, she's like, I'm coming in. She really wants to get over here. I don't know if I want to breed off her, to be honest. She had a little bit of success here and there, not overly high in the federation, but she got in the club, it was alright, but federation wise not ideal. But we'll see how we go. We may use her as a foster hen, or we may do 1 or 2 rounds a little bit later. Ideally it'd be nice to put that hen with him, but yeah, we will see. I'm sort of still shuffling through all my pairs and things like that, but she really wants to get in here. I do know that, 83 over the back there, the first pair we looked at, that little, there he is there with the best kittle hen. I do want to get some rounds out of them, rotate a few hens through 83, and try and foster a few out, and then try and get a few rounds out of Leon Storm, and then race those babies and see what, if we can get another 83. If we can get another 83, of that quality, I'll be pretty happy. So we'll just have to wait to see anyway. Come on, what are you up to? You're looking for something. Have you eaten all the pink mineral powder? Maybe. Got that hen, but we've got this cockbird in here as well. I may just do 1 or 2 rounds from him this year. I'm not 100% sure, but I might use him to float eggs if I really need to. I've not so much changed my mind so much, but I just really want to try and distance myself a little bit from the Vanderbilts. I don't, like, they are good, but they're really good at that short sprint, that kind of stuff. But when we start looking at one lofts, I really need birds that are got a little bit hardier. They're a little bit harder to lose. That's why the Leo Storms and a few other, there will be some more birds coming along soon, and you will see them. But I'll explain more then. These are, he's really good, well bred for Vanderbilt. We'll do a couple of rounds out of him maybe, but those babies will probably fall in the same boat as these ones. But this hen here, they'll be more for us in the early season where we can just do some sprint races. But yeah, I don't want to get too crazy about it. I really want to get the more one loft orientated family pumping a bit more so we can get them into a few one lofts. But we'll get there as we go. And you will see there's a little bit of water coming in from the back there. We are getting absolutely hammered in rain. So I will get in there tomorrow. We've got a break in the weather and get some silicone in there and try and fix those holes. I am planning a new loft, but that's going to be some time away because it will be one to fix all problems, hopefully. So there's one of Shock's sons, probably actually the only son that actually made it all the way through. He's looking pretty good as well, so he's starting to mature. Everyone else is looking pretty good. That's the mother there on the right, and that's actually her daughter, so she's done pretty well with that hen. She's one of Leon Storm's hens. She went out to nearly 400 kilometers this year, which is good. So did her daughter, and they both performed pretty well, so we will put a bit of a plan in place how we're gonna breed these ones, because I feel like we need to test both of them, because this hen is, well, the 2006, that's what her number is, and she's been a standout from the start. So I always talk about her, but we need to figure out what we're going to do with her. She's a beautiful hen. Definitely want to breed her and then continue racing her. But yeah, I think 83 we might put 83 over her at some point and do a few rounds. Someone's trying to climb up my leg, but yeah, I do like that hen. She's pretty beautiful, that one. But equally good, she was always the first few in the races back, if you remember. And then we got these ones from Shock. They are still here. They've been flying around a little bit. You know, it's going to take them a while to keep up with the rest of them, but we'll get them out soon as well. Hey, buddy. Huh? Hopefully Monday we get a bit of a break and I'll take these for a training toss. I've got to go to my accountants and do my tax, so that's kind of 35-40 kilometers in the direction that we have been traveling, so I'll take some up there with me. Especially like this cockbird back here, we do have, must be next weekend now, can't be far away, is the first $10,000 special ring race which he's in, and also this little hen here too, so we want to try and get a few tosses in that time, and if these two make it back from that race, there is another one. So we've still got 2 races before we get too crazy, and then kind of once those races are done, or once the first one's out of the way, we might start splitting the sexes a little bit so we can start getting ready for pairing, because I really want to get them, you know, just separated for a bit, so when we do go to pairing it's just easier. At the moment it's not as easy as it should be. I do like that little hen. She breeds some good little babies, that one. And the daughter as well, she's a bit of a character. So those two, just showing you them ones, just give them an idea. Both been doing pretty well. There is a son, her son also is this one here, but that was when I paired the mother back to Leo, so that's an inbred son, and he went all the way out to pretty much 400 as well, and he was almost a clockbird there at one point. He was on 3 on the drop, so yeah, he's not too bad for an inbred, so we'll think about what we're going to do with him. But we've got a little bit of mucking around and planning to do, and here's our little hen as well. She's probably starting to get a bit more interested in trying to get over there, because that's her father, but she wants in those breeding boxes, don't you? And one more thing before we finish this video is, once we get past these 2 $10,000 races, if we get to that far, I'm going to redo this front section. You can see a little bit of water here, not ideal at all, so I'm going to change this whole front section. I'm going to completely close it off. We'll go outside so I can have a better explanation of it. I'm doing a lot of work to this loft, but only, you know, the cheap fixes, quick and easies, and then we can start saving and planning for a better loft. But what I'll plan on doing is getting a massive big bit of marine ply. Most likely it'll go all the way down, so it'll cover all this up, cover this whole section in so no water gets in there, and we'll set it up so the clock and that can be in there. Nothing's going to get wet. I'm going to try and order some more bob traps. I'm going to get the, I think it's the aluminium type with the plastic tees, because I'm going to do a little bit more on this as well. I'm going to redo this. This is the plan at this point. I've got a lot of steel metal tube in the shed, galvanized stuff, so I might actually weld up a new one of these, a bit bigger, and probably try and come out a little bit more as well, because this was all right but a little bit small. But with the whole, you know, some of this clear sheeting on the side and stuff, and make it look really cool. But just giving you a bit of an idea. And another idea that I was thinking is about putting a little door in the bottom here when we put the sheet down, where we can actually sit our crates in and load the birds directly into crates. Just, you know, move them in. So a few little ideas, just trying to make things a bit easier. And we might even look at putting shade cloth down that whole front as well, just leaving the doors open. But still plenty of airflow, birds can still see out of it, but it will just give them a little bit of draft protection. We don't get a lot in there anyway, but more importantly, it might, you know, not encourage the falcons to kind of get them. We had a bit of a rough period last year, so a few little bits and pieces. But tomorrow the whole roof is going on, so get ready and stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all in the next video.